Welcome to the Accessible Hunter podcast. I'm Greg Trainer along with my co-host Mike Hudson. And today we have Sarah and Matt on from the Sawtooth Farm Hunts. Mike, how you doing down in South Carolina today, man?
Man, we're doing fantastic. Finally we've got some decent weather. Looking outside and seeing sunshine. It's going to be in the 50s today, so that's awesome. No more rain, no more teens. And what can I complain about?
Man, we had a bunch of snow up here this week, but weather's getting a lot better. And I'm thinking about turkey hunting here pretty soon. And our guests today, they got a turkey hunt coming up here pretty soon. Sarah and Matt, how you guys doing today?
We're good. I'm Sarah Barringer, and this is my husband, Matt.
Nice to talk with both of you. We appreciate you coming on the podcast today. We've been following along on Facebook, what you guys are doing, the different hunts and the donating the chairs and raising money for a lot of people in North Carolina. And if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about your organization and what you guys have been doing this year.
You want to start?
Go ahead.
Well, the organization started very small and very informal with Matt and his brother John. They lost a cousin, Brent Barringer, due to a brain tumor. Over the course of his life, his ability for outdoors got less and less. And as his ability got less and less, their adaptions and ability to get him in the woods grew more and more. After his passing, they decided to go ahead and start trying to do a little bit of it around here with other people. So the first year was like six hunters and 2 sponsors. And we recently had, I want to say this year we had 68 hunters when it was all said and done. And 100 and probably 20 some sponsors, whether they're big or small or in kind or monetary, of all kinds. But we started it's 23, probably 6 or 8 years ago, trying to get track chairs to people to get them in the outdoors, give them the opportunity for getting out in the outdoors. And we've done that quite a bit. And we've actually, whether it was a track chair or a power chair, been able to gift or rehome 25, maybe 28 power chairs.
Wow.
And we've recently decided that maybe we need to branch out from that, because obviously a track chair is not for everyone. They can't come inside and
Right.
they can't load up in a car very well. They need a trailer, and not everybody wants to go through the woods. Some people just want to go to the park. Some people want to go to work, so we are actually meeting with, I mean, it's okay to tell them about that.
Yeah.
We're actually meeting with a hunter that her first time was at our hunt this year. Her name is Leanna Moore.
Okay.
And she recently got her driver's license. Once she got her driver's license, she got a vehicle and then went to get the hand controls and realized that's a ridiculous amount of money. And she works every day. She couldn't get insurance to cover it, didn't have grants and things. And when I saw the cost, I was devastated because we couldn't do anything about it. And I was pulling for her to get her driver's license. Well, she's doing a fundraiser that she just posted a couple of days ago. And Matt and I go for an exercise walk every morning at 7 a.m. And on that walk, he said, Sarah, that Leanna, she's doing an event. And I saw you shared it. And he said, we ought to do something for that event. And I told him, yeah, and we had already talked about, her ups and downs with getting the license and the inability to get the hand controls. And he said, well, why don't we do what we would do for a track chair for her? So instead, she's got a 501c3 that we're able, she's coming tonight for dinner, and we are gifting her, instead of a track chair, the amount for a track chair to go towards her hand controls for her vehicle.
That's fantastic.
So we're trying to branch out and find the need, and
Right.
And God gives us the need, and He gives us the ability.
Right. You know, that's one of the things me and Greg have talked about with multiple other guests. It seems that what God has turned around to be a positive, you know, the enemy, of course, wants to use it as a negative. I'm sorry to hear about your cousin, Matt. But out of that tragedy, God's given you guys an amazing ministry. And you know, me and Greg can attest to it. I was on a completely different trajectory in life, but God didn't ask my opinion. He said this is what's going to end up happening. I didn't volunteer for the chair, but here I still roll. But you know, you guys are doing a fantastic job, and you're meeting needs that you see it. You're dealing with it on a daily basis, and you're putting um, a face with Leanne that is going through all this stuff. You know, the system is kind of skewed against us, and you know, parts should not cost that much just to get back to something that we see as normal. Everybody wants to drive.
Yeah.
But doggone, you can't afford the car, and then you can't afford the parts to go on it. It makes it a really tough situation. So, from a guy that's in a wheelchair, thank you very much for what you're doing for her. It's going to open up so much freedom, independence, and just completely change our mindset.
We're really excited about it. She wants to drive herself to work, drive herself to the grocery store, and the things that we do every single day. We're
Yeah.
excited about it, and we're hoping that her fundraiser coming up in April will do well for her and get her where she needs to be.
And at the end of the podcast, we'll get the links off of you for her. Maybe we can throw, some attention to her fundraiser and hopefully help meet those needs. Today, before the podcast, Mike and I were discussing the exact same thing on a personal note that, we're trying to get equipment and dealing with insurance. And it's just really, people have no idea what it is like unless you're actually in the system. So for you guys to branch out, not only from the outdoors, but the day-to-day needs, we got to commend you on that, because it is daunting for somebody trying to get hand controls, trying to get back to work, go to school, do day-to-day activities. So thank you guys for reaching out and branching out on that.
Yeah, but it's just touched our heart, and we wanted to see where we could go. And thankfully our sponsors, they like what we do, and they feel it in their heart, and
Mhm.
they're willing to, basically put their money where their mouth is, and they do it. It's them.
Right.
It's really not us, it's them. But
Right.
they trust us, and we work hard to stay committed and faithful to that zone. They, they're looking to help disabled people. So we're
That's the
trying to stay in that zone.
Right. That's the thing. You know, we can't all do everything. You know, not one nonprofit can do everything. It's about building mutually beneficial partnerships. And these organizations and donors, there's a lot of people out there with massive hearts. They just want to make sure that what they're doing is going to the right people. And you guys have shown a perplexity for doing the right thing because it's the right thing. And they see it, they want to be involved. And like Greg said, we just want to be able to share it. That's what this podcast is about, is really just showing, hey, these entities are out there, these organizations are out there. Everybody chime in, let's do it together. And we're going to see how God's going to continue to show out. And that's what I mean. I get enjoyment out of this every week, is being able to see who's out there, what they're doing, and the amazing stuff going on, even though the system's flawed.
Well,
So again,
after 14 or 17 years of doing this, there has at least 5 different organizations spawned off of ours, people that have helped with ours, that have gone to their communities and towns and started a deer hunt or a youth hunt, primarily disabled hunts, but 5 organizations in 17 years have spun off of people that have came to our event and said, hey, I like this. I want to do this in our community. How do I start? I say, start small. Just what guides you can get, who you can trust, give them 100%. Don't try to
Right.
start with 60 hunters. Start with 5 hunters.
Mhm.
Right.
And
Yep.
they've done very well.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and Matt, it's really, friends helping friends. Your circle started small, but now you're really branching out, to other organizations, probably other states, people that have hunted with you guys and kind of taking your model and taking it back to their community. So, it's not about big organizations, as you said, starting off with 100 or 1,000 people. It's helping 5. It's helping the people close to you, the people in your area that you can help, and building those relationships and building trust with the community that you're in.
And it even goes to our church, our youth group. They do handicap ramps.
Right.
You think about it, you got somebody that's just recently got in a chair. They can't get in and out of their house. So, they
Right.
reach out to us, and then we can in turn get them to the right people that help with ramps. So there's several organizations, here within 50 miles of us that's what they do, is build handicap ramps.
Right.
Primarily through church youth groups or other organizations, but they need them. They have to have those.
Right. We have to be the hands, that go out and do. Unfortunately, Monty Greg's hands as quadriplegics don't work good, but we can always, reach out to other organizations that are out there and say, hey, this need's out there. Let's find out ways we can continue to partner with them and make these needs met. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I don't keep going back that to say kudos. Like I said, I'm in the neighboring state of South Carolina. We hear about you guys all the time. I follow you guys on Facebook and have been keeping up with a ton of stuff. I know you guys just put out, matter of fact, I think it was yesterday, for your turkey hunt. And how many folks do you normally see come through on those disability turkey hunts?
I mean, I will get 80 to 100
Applicants.
Mm-hmm.
The turkey hunt, though, is much smaller. Not every
Sure.
guide, even if they turkey hunt, feel like they can guide.
Right.
Like me, if I call one day, he gonna run, and if I call another day, he's gonna come. And you don't want to gamble with somebody else's hunt, so
Right.
20 to 25 has been about the maximum. So it's much smaller scale than the deer hunt. It's kind of like a vacation, more like a barbecue and a gathering of friends than the deer hunt. For Matt and I, it's a runner's game. It's okay, don't eat too much because you don't have the time and you need to run. And this
Right.
we get to kind of visit and congregate. So it's a lot smaller, and unfortunately we can't take them all. It's very sad, and I let Matt have to kind of deal with that because I can't.
We'll take as many hunters as we have guides to take them hunting.
Right.
Sure.
Turkey's a whole different, that's a whole nother animal.
Yeah.
Those suckers are phenomenal at doing what they do and spotting us and finding us and trying to get a big fat wheelchair close to a turkey, or, to be able to do that. And like you said, Sarah, those animals respond when they want to. I can coax a deer a little bit better out and shoot from a long distance. So it's easier to get a chair close to those, but you're never guaranteed where those turkeys are going to be roosting and what they're going to be doing. And
That's
so
right.
Last
it
year
makes it a lot more difficult.
we had the best turkey hunt we'd ever had last year. I think we had 26 or 27 hunters, and I think they killed 9 or 10 birds.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Heck of the year. And
Yeah,
then
it is.
we had the best deer season this year we'd ever had with 68 hunters, and they took 75 deer in 3 hunts of a Friday evening, Saturday morning, Saturday evening. In 3 hunts, they took 75 deer.
Wow.
Matt, I noticed on your applications for like the turkey hunt and things, you ask people about what type of shotgun they're shooting, that kind of thing. Do you have equipment available if somebody's just brand new, doesn't have their own equipment? Do you guys, lend shotguns or adaptive equipment, or how would that work for somebody that doesn't have the gear that maybe Mike or I have?
I think most of these people around here can scrounge up a shotgun in the corner of a bedroom or a closet somewhere.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody going with a BB gun. I can tell you that. We'll
So
take
Yeah.
our guides will have it or will have it. We also have 4 of the night sites, which I mean they can see at night, but that's not what we have them for. We have
Right.
them for blind people, so they're able to aim, and their guide can tell them, hey, left or right or whatever. And we have them for people that are maybe only able to blow through a straw or push a button to
Right.
fire. We have those. We have the tripods that help them hang it. Of course, we keep some track chair. We keep a track chair, and we're able to borrow track chairs from North Carolina Handicapped Sportsmen out of Lewisburg,
Mm-hmm.
and Wayfarer out of
He's from South Carolina.
Yeah. Waymaker, Jacob Woodmaker. Yeah.
And also Wendy and Chris Caldwell from Action Track Chair. They usually come to our hunts, and they bring a trailer to troubleshoot people's chairs, and they bring a couple of their own for us to use.
Right.
They really have gone above and beyond for making this easy for us. And so we're able to get more chairs than just ours because we couldn't handle it. But it's nice, and we can get them where they need to be. And some of these organizations have big ground blinds, and we're able to borrow amongst the organizations, and then we're trying to also collect things that other people can borrow, the like the push button trigger mechanisms and things like that. I think we have 2 of those now.
Technology's come a long way, and stuff like Be Adaptive with the sip and puff triggers and track chairs and all that. They're fantastic, and they really bridge a gap. Me and Greg both use that type of equipment. And Sarah, you're right on the money that, track chairs are not for everybody because they're kind of hard to get into and they're cumbersome and a rough ride. They do open up a ton of outdoors, but I was kind of going to jump back in on something that Greg had just a few minutes ago. I know, like on your application, it says, do you have a North Carolina hunting license? So would DNR work if you had a guy or girl coming in from out of state that didn't have a North Carolina hunting license? I've gone on hunts in other states where DNR will waive that. Will North Carolina do that for you as well?
They do waive it. We have to put in for license exemptions. They do have to tag their animal. They do have to have a report card, but the report card costs us $2 or $3 per hunter. But we just had to fill out all that paperwork before the hunt. Now, years ago, we had to buy everybody's license from every state that they came in. And after doing that for 6 or 8 years, some of the people at the North Carolina Wildlife had heard about the hunt and that we were having to, incur that expense, and they took it before the council and got it approved to where if you're an organized event, you can put in for license exemption. So I think that law changed in North Carolina basically because of us, of our
good. That's what it needs to be.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome, because I believe here in Pennsylvania, anybody coming from out of state needs to buy an out of state license, and that is not $25. That's a lot more than the standard hunting license. And I may have to do a little advocacy on my own about that, Matt, because if you guys were able to get that changed in North Carolina, I'm sure if people were made aware of that here in Pennsylvania, they may want to reciprocate that. So that's an idea that I had never even thought of, Matt. So thank you and Sarah for advocating and getting that changed.
And especially if you're, while you're advocating, you're not advocating for everybody that comes. You're advocating for disabled members.
Right.
That just, and some organizations advocate that type of thing for youth. And I don't know exactly how that works, but where they might not be willing to bend a whole lot, we find that a lot of these entities do want to support the disabled community in things like that. They wouldn't normally do it, but hey, this is our chance to, open this door.
We've talked about that in the past too, and not to take a whole lot of time, but I try to get these organizations to understand we need to all work together to see if we can make change, because from state to state, like, I don't know if North Carolina does it. South Carolina has a lifetime hunting and fishing disabled license, and we've tried to get our state entities to understand getting guys and girls out there with a disability a lot of times is tough because we don't do well in the cold, or it's hard to get out there and that kind of stuff. But if you would give them the opportunity, they just want to go and enjoy the outdoors. We just can't do it on the same scale all the time like other groups, but make those things. We're not looking for a handout, right? We're looking for a hand up and just making a need known. But let's learn to work together. And if these state entities would see that, then a lot of times they make change. They just don't know.
And Mike, I think you hit the nail on the head right there, that they want to make the right changes. When you sit down on a personal level with people and, you talk with the game commission or, the powers that be, once you explain things, they understand it and they want to do it. But sometimes it's a matter of, you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it, kind of deal, And I find it. Go ahead, Matt.
Right people here, because when we had our hunts, all the game wardens from every county within 100 miles, I think, came to eat with us.
Right.
The wildlife biologists were here, pulling jawbones, weighing all the deer. So, I mean, we had a lot of uniformed people here from the state.
Right.
Could take that message back to the officials and say, listen, these people are doing something good. We need to license exempt,
right,
for a hunt like this. So, we had the right people here.
They wanted to get involved. They saw it and they wanted to get involved with it. And that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is
several
awesome.
of the game wardens actually are guides, and have been for years.
I know that a lot of people will complain about game wardens, that type of thing, but personally, I think they're the best people to talk to. They're the most knowledgeable, and really the first person willing to help, whether it be an animal or a hunter. They are the go-to people, at least in my opinion, in most states.
We pick at them. We call them Mr. Green Jeans when they hear.
Yeah. Here too.
We tell them they just came to eat.
Yeah.
But no, we actually reach out and say, hey, it's going on. Love for y'all to swing in. Of course, we also reach out to the county sheriffs, from Stanley and Cabarrus, and the state troopers, and say, hey, swing in, get you something to eat. And a lot, especially the kids, if the police come, they want a picture in that police car.
Right.
Absolutely. Put that siren and lights on.
Yeah.
Right. I guess I'm kind of jaded in that, as I was in law enforcement when I got hurt. And so, I always show up for a good meal. And if I get an opportunity to get out there and hunt, that just raises awareness. But, you guys are doing something too, because with my nonprofit, what we do a lot of times is we'll bring cops out and put them in wheelchairs, and it gets the opportunity where society sees them in a whole different standpoint. So like you said, Sarah, the cops want to take a picture with the kid. It puts a humanality behind the badge, and people actually see them for what they are, is just people putting on a uniform to go do a difficult job. But then the kids see it in a whole nother light. So again, it's just you guys are making it a family event. It's not just around going out and blatantly hunting and just killing a bunch of animals indiscriminately. That's kind of what society wants to say about hunters, is we're not conservationists and we're not this and that. But you guys are showing it from a whole realm of respite care, not only taking care of the family members, but the animals and the community with law enforcement. And it's commendable. I enjoy hearing what you guys are doing.
Well, we always say, maybe in the beginning it was kind of about hunting, but now it's not about the hunt. It's more about the social event. It's the fact that they can come here, and it raises spirits. So now, and I'll say he won't care. He has podcasts and YouTubes and everything that he does. One hunter in particular, no, this has happened a couple times, but this guy's always online, so I know it's safe to bring him up. Cameron Hayes, he was a sniper. He lost his leg and some of his fingers in a motorcycle accident, and his wife as well. She was with him. And when he came to the hunt the first time, I mean, it was basically brand new off of his injury, and he was kind of just, yeah, I'm here to sign in, you know, kind of. But he came and he saw people doing better than him, people doing worse than him, but he saw all of those doing it and making a new life. And when he left, he did a big, very nice write up, and I think YouTube and things about the experience and how it's given him a new lease on life. And then what I was, he gave him his new feet. Only one. That's our joke. It's his joke, not mine.
Right.
But now he's back into jujitsu and his weightlifting, and he's very active. He's, you know, he's totally, he got married. They were dating and now they've married. She walked down the aisle, the whole thing. It was kind of the first thing that he got to experience that picked him up and gave him a little shove to go do all the things that he already was doing and knew how to do. And he just felt like he wasn't sure he could do them again. And now he's out killing it.
Well, you giving him an opportunity to start the healing process and accepting the injury. You know, we can't do anything to change the injury, but man, we can sure change our mindset and trajectory on life. And he just get to see, you know, he started seeing people through y'all's eyes doing it. And so it raises awareness and allows the people to get out of their head in the home and start the healing process. And it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight.
It is. And if you see him now lifting weights, and I mean, it's amazing. He's out doing all kinds of wrestling. And I mean, and I think that our hunters now can see him and be like, oh, I can do that. So I think he's very inspirational for a lot of our other hunters, and definitely newly disabled people, that they need that win. They need to see somebody winning to decide that they're going to win.
That's exactly right. And I was just going to chime in with tagging the animal is a very small part of the process that leads to so much more, to the fellowship, the camaraderie, the ability to see others at different levels of different times in their injury. You know, Mike's been hurt over 25 years. I've been hurt 25 years next month. And you get to see people where they are. And we always try to see people for who they are, where they're at in that stage of the journey. And it can vary, you know, over the course of a lifetime, ups and downs. Well, Sarah, Matt, what can we do for you guys for the upcoming turkey hunt? Is there something that you guys need from the people, or how can we help you with your next hunt? Or what would you like to say to people listening that maybe they could help in the area?
Well, I'd like for both of y'all to put the turkey hunting date on your calendar, because both of y'all are going to be special guests this year. Who are because I'm the hunt master, and we're going to do a lottery draw for the hunters. But I do keep a few special guests in my back pocket. So if either or both of you guys can make it to North Carolina, it'll be the third weekend of turkey season. We'll put you up in a motel and we'll feed you good and hopefully get you on some of these smart birds.
It's May 3rd and 4th. And it'll be that Friday, an evening hunt after lunch. And you'll come back for supper. And then there's a Saturday morning hunt and a Saturday lunch before everybody departs. It's, you know, one thing I got to say is we're from a small town. We're from Gold Hill, North Carolina. But when we put a post up that we need desserts or we need food, sides or whatever, it's coming. I used to be very kind of, oh gosh, what if it doesn't come? And I mean, I hope that never happens, because now I kind of take for granted we're going to have more than I need. And I think that has nothing to do with us. It reflects solely on our community as a whole, because people that we don't even know come up here and drop off food for this. And we're so thankful. Every little piece that people are able to give makes the whole picture.
Right.
And a lot of people say you and Matt are doing a good thing. Well, my first hunt was 2016. And I said, oh my gosh, I love this. Matt and I had been together 3 months at that point. I said, man, I hope we don't break up, because it'll really be awkward when I come back.
Right.
She stayed with you for the hunting, Matt. That's what she's saying. You did it right.
Yeah.
Mom and
It's
Dad
so-
tell me now that if I ever break up with Sarah, they sure are gonna miss me.
Yeah. You're stuck. You're stuck now. But Matt, you got to be careful inviting us, man, because I love fellowship. I love hunting, but I'm a fat guy, man. And if you got good food, I might be living in your back area. You just don't know it yet.
These blinds we got will accommodate a plate and a cooler and all kinds of stuff.
Oh man,
Have a picnic.
And we always say, if you leave here hungry, it is your own fault.
That's your fault.
I
right.
believe that. Guys, I appreciate the invite. I'll have to check with the boss and see what her plans are. I would love to come down and hunt with you sometime.
Spouse are invited as well. So, and grandkids, you bring anybody you want to.
Man,
It ain't just for hunters;
you.
it's for their families as well.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So other than the turkey hunt coming up, is there any other hunts that you guys have that will be coming up in the near future, or what other ways can we help spread the word about what you guys have all coming into fruition?
We just have we do the turkey hunt and the deer hunt. We're not one that does a whole lot of hunts. Our goal is just put it together and do it as best as this is, he works full-time for a living, and thankfully he can support me. So I kind of do the hunt as between this and my other volunteer things in the community. This is my job. This is what I do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hunt is December the 6th and the 7th.
Yeah. That's a lot. I wasn't trying to downplay on that. By all means, you guys are doing a lot.
Well, and people have asked, so why don't you do, because we just don't have the facility. And what we like about this is our sponsors, they're able to come to the event and see what they put in on. Where if we spread it out, they wouldn't get to be able to come as much, and it wouldn't be one place where we could say, this is where you can come and see everything that you have put in on in a whole year. But for us, we do it twice a year. We do one turkey and one deer. And then during the year, we kind of see the need, and this is our second podcast. We're not good at this type of thing, but we have a speech tomorrow, and then we're going to another speech on Tuesday at the Board of Education, because we just gave a track chair to a child at South Stanley High School. Not a child, a teen.
He's a child.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking he was older. But so we do speeches and things, but people say, where's your pamphlets? And I think I'm going to have to break down and get some, because I hadn't had pamphlets,
You're too busy planning hunts to make pamphlets. You're getting it done. You're not about, handing stuff out. You're about getting it done and getting the hunters in the woods and the food on the table. So
people will ask us, where do you find 100 people that are disabled? We don't find them. They find us.
Yeah.
And it's by word of mouth. These guys go to you know, 6 or 8 or 10 hunts a year, a lot of them.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
the same core group of disabled folks that they've got their group together, and they enjoy the hunt and they spread the word. So we've never had a
Right.
problem having not enough hunters, because we always have hunters that we have to turn down.
That's the thing, man. Our community is a really tight knit community. The disability community is really tight knit, and so word of mouth gets out there a lot, and it goes a long way. From finding out what kind of equipment works. Me and Greg we'll hit each other up, even though I'm in South Carolina, he's in PA, and we'll talk about what Be Adaptive has out there that's new and improved, and what type track chair works good, and you guys hit the nail on the head. It's word of mouth spreads. And like I said, I've never hunted with you guys, even though you're, I don't know exactly how far from, I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. I'd have to look it up. But, man, I've heard you guys' name over and over again from guys like Andy Arnett, and different folks. You probably couldn't run Andy off now if you wanted to, because dude, he loves to come out there and hunt with you guys. And so, word of mouth goes a long way. And, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Thank you again for all you're doing for the disability community. And I have no doubt it is heartwarming for you just to see the smile on the faces of the guys and girls you're getting out there. But from a guy that's been hurt 28 years, I truly appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you. And you're right. People say, why do you do this? Because I'll be frazzled and stressed out and things, because I'm trying to make sure everything's perfect, and I'm OCD, so part of it's just totally my fault and not even the need of hunt. But I say, well, because I'm greedy, because it feels so good. And
Yeah.
and I tell them I do it because I'm greedy. That that's a lie, but that's what I always say. And I do think that if you do things right as best as you can, I don't mean perfect. I mean, if you're
Right.
doing the right thing to the best of your ability, God is going to bless you. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but this year our hunt was scheduled for like 90 and 100% rain all day, Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It only rained in the evening after they got out of the woods and everybody was in under the tents, and the weather was basically perfect for the hunt. God, you can see God's hands in this hunt.
Yep. Yep. And that's one of the things, we can't outgive him. We can't outdo him. And we try not to make everything about religion. But here's the thing, as a Christian man, I don't have any problem telling everybody he shows out and shows me something new each and every day. And when I think I try hard to stay humble and not make it about me. And then the next thing you know, he's showing you another God wink along the way, just letting us know, hey, I've been here the whole time. Find where I'm at work and you join along me, because man, it's overwhelming when you see it.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Guys, we so appreciate you coming on the podcast today, and we'll get as much information out about the hunt as we can. And thank you for your time this morning.